Hey everybody, welcome back. It is I, DrBossKey, and today we're going to talk through the latest round of changes. I just put up a new alpha build today. It's going to go up in the Discord here in just after I'm done with this video, basically. And I thought I'd just run you guys through a bunch of the changes that we've done over the last 2.5, 3 weeks or so. So let's jump into this. And if you guys like these videos, let me know in the comments. I feel a little bit awkward when I'm running through my own list of changes and work, but you know, it is what it is. So if you guys are finding value and enjoying it, let me know. And questions, of course, welcome. If you want to play test, there'll be a link in the description to head over to the Discord server to get the build. Windows only. But thank you, everybody that's been playtesting and helping and just being part of the journey. Much appreciated. So let's see here. I'm just going to go down in the order in which I captured some of these with the Trello cards. So yeah, I think one of the biggest things that we did this time around is we basically realized that our bottom weapons were too laser heavy. We had too many laser types, plasma, laser, same kind of thing, even though they behave a little bit differently. And as a result, that didn't give us enough opportunity for variety. So since then, we've added the BFM, which is a large missile that explodes. We posted a video earlier for that. We added a secondary laser. And maybe I can actually just pop over and show you guys what we've got here. Well, we did updates and tuning and tweaking over all the levels at this point. We've got a new version of level 3, Cerebus's Mountain. Yeah, I think this will be a cacophony. I got to turn off the sound here real quick. There we go. Yeah. So, so we have our base weapons. So nothing changed there. We have the plasma driver, and we've got a bug with the latest build where the plasma rope is glitching a little bit. But we went, and for the third weapon set, we added another one of these. I really like this weapon. It's like a laser rope or kind of like a lightsaber maybe. So we did we found some cool effects that we added for this too. So it's been that was a lot of fun. So it was kind of nice to have that variation early on. Let's see, home Gatling gravity missile V-shot. Yep. So I think we already had the version where we made the graphics look better for the 5 vertical shot. This thing does a lot of damage. So Stasis Cannon ring shot and the BFM is, so we got the stasis here. We got this kind of little ring shot floaty bits, and then we've got these guys. Yeah, I showed these earlier. So pretty cool. They probably do a little bit too much damage right now, but that was that. On the V laser, it's technically a tri-laser now, but we decided to add a third laser there. So also we beefed up the just the overall size of the weapons, the weapon bullets. So I think one of the things I'm going to do, note to self, is I also want to make most of our bullets just glowy, have more effects. So, but we're working on it. So let's see here. The Infinity Laser, this is the one that basically passes through enemies. So there we tweaked damage values for that as well. We have the Ring Warp and the Laser Field. So this was still one of my favorites. So we'll just spell a little D here. A little B, and then like a little K. Yeah, there we go. Because everyone wants to do that. Yeah, so that not a lot of changes there. We tweaked some. I think we tweaked speeds a little bit and a little in damage across the board for the top weapon. And the bottom, this massive spread shot is kind of crazy when you get really up close. It does a lot of damage. The Heaven Shot got tweaked a little bit. It was doing way too much damage, and we have the circular missile barrage, which is pretty cool. And then I really enjoy that it's situational, but I enjoy the sweeping laser for the top and bottom at that point as well. So let's see, the triple lance got updates, just mostly to damage. The stasis shots there. We added more damage to this big charge pass through shot. It doesn't feel quite right. This might get replaced, but in an attempt to make it feel stronger. It's great when it passes through multiple enemies, but it's kind of a counterbalance there. So Frost Barrage, And then the laser rope, so another version. This one does a little bit more damage, a little bit later in the stack of things, of course. And then we tweaked and tuned the frost barrage as well. So Gatling spread, missile barrage, singularity shot. So here, we changed this from being a burst. So this does a lot of good damage, a nice big spread shot. That feels pretty good. And then we've got these stasis, basically stasis shots that show up. They're multiple bits, and then they stay on the field, so enemies can run into them and get damaged as well if that happens. So Tenet Gatling, the Worm Field, and Star Seeker. So yep, this definitely is feeling much, I think, more enjoyable. The Star Seeker, you can't see it here, but this is it actually seeks. So I left that version of the weapon together, and then 180 Ripple, Plasma Worm, and Frost Spread. So yeah, the Plasma Worm is pretty fun, and it's been tough tweaking the damage for this thing because there's a lot of bullets in there. And then we added we changed this from a single, and it was like this tri-shot bursty thing to basically a 180 on the top of weapon there itself. So yeah, that was that for there. What else we got? So we went through from playtesting. The ship size for the player ship is now 20% smaller, which makes the ship feel more agile and a lot more nimble, which is good. Also, it's interesting because when you make the ship smaller, it is easier to navigate through the existing bullet patterns that we created. So I didn't rebalance things for that. So it's still, we're going to try it. People are still thinking that maybe the ship is too big. But part of the dimension of the ship, of course, is about weapon placement, and that's what gives you some of your gameplay with things you can reach with the top weapon and bottom weapon. So we're gonna play test more and see what happens there. Power up clarification. We added tutorial level to give you no pressure for the different types of power-ups. I've clarified the super weapon online with a voice. That was technically in the version before, but that was part of this too. And then weapon plates in the prototype level there. I just showed you all the weapon plates, so giving you better hints as to which weapon sets are there. And then yeah, so the other things are there. So there was an item there. That's just a suggestion. I'm gonna still consider perhaps a shield item, but we've since tweaked a bunch of other things with player health and player hull points. So I haven't done anything yet there, but I'm still considering it. So one of the other big things that we did is we added. So one of the things that was bugging me is that, let me see, I can probably just show them here. So we added Lokis. So Loki, by the way, is come here, kitty. Kiki. Yeah, that's my Loki. You're a good girl. Yeah, so that's actually DrBossKey's sidekick Loki in the game. You know, I don't know if you, I mean, she doesn't have as many wings, but you know. So one of the things that's been bugging me is that I had for a long time, I had, for instance, enemy robo-balls. Some of them would just give you basically points, like the soul points. And then sometimes when you would kill a full string of them, they would also then drop a power up. So what I've done is I've gone through all the levels, and now I'm starting a design language where essentially if you shoot Lokis, they don't actually do damage to you. You can do damage to them with collision, but they basically are dropping they're dropping power ups. So so you can see there's a whole point there, and then that Loki gives you like a power up shot for your weaponry. So it's been pretty cool in that respect. Also, one of the neat things is that I can still have like so you can see this Loki here. So this Loki here only appears when you destroy this robo seekers. So these are the robo seekers that come from the top of the screen. They come in from they come down and from the left and then to the right. So if you destroy all of those robo seekers, then it gives you a bonus Loki, and this bonus Loki gives you in this case a health power up. So I've also kind of left some of that in place where you still get rewarded with extra goodies depending on how well you clear all of the enemies at certain points during the level. So also just a small note is in the overworld, we basically put a Loki in there to kind of give you an idea to always see that Lokis are Lokis are always around for giving you presents and things, gifts basically. I call them gift givers. So power-ups. So there was that. Let's see. And then, okay, so then I replaced the enemy strings there. There was that. I had a round of playthrough notes. I did some work on level 1 with fading out the music. I broke up the music track into 3 different tracks. I also, I think, I don't have the sound on for the game right now, but one of the things I did is in level 1, I didn't make any changes. I basically, not only did I change where the music kind of spawns to accentuate the boss battles and things like that, but not that the game has any sound design right now. We're working on it. It's going to be one of the last things we kind of pull together, because I want final assets and timing and everything before I start changing sound effects. So, but here, when you approach the mid boss, the music stops, and then this trumpeting kind of like dinosaur, I don't know, reverb-alicious goodness starts happening, and it goes right. So as he's kind of emerging from the ocean, and then basically, by the way, we basically have final art now, and I did a video on this, so I won't go back into it here, but the mid boss basically has damage states now, and also audio cues, and yeah, so that was pretty fun to do. Level 1, so with the music, we adjusted some weaponry. We tweaked the super gauge again to try to give you a nice balance between getting your supers off to save you, but also not building it up so quickly. I'm having a real challenge balancing weapons that have lots of bullets, because right now you can build your super weapon up by just doing damage to enemies, which I really like. I don't want to lose that. But it also means that then high rate of fire weapons with lots of bullets increase your super weapon gauge faster than the weapons that don't. So we're still playing with it, but we increased the gauge overall to make it a little less spammy. So, and we'll see what it comes from the next level of playtest. So I still have some options there, and I got a couple of questions out to Sunny the developer as well. So let's see here. Yep, and then we did a pass against the size of bullet projectiles, which we talked about already, and then another playthrough. So let's see, I've got a suggestion into Sunny the developer to when you tap just the circle button, it discharges your entire super weapon. People from playtesting, I'm finding that people are tapping the button, and you can tap it multiple times, but you have about half a second of full weapon charge. So people are accidentally are not realizing that they can hold the weapon down to get the max charge out of that. So just a little quality of life thing. So hopefully we'll get that added to the engine. So also a big change that we made is we changed the starting health. So previously you'd start at 1 whole point, and it just wasn't. It's great for people that are playing well, because it kind of gives you a more high risk, high reward kind of scenario. But you're already doing well. So what I was realizing is that basically when people are hitting these small snowball areas and they're just getting blown up over and over and over, not super fun. So I've done 2 things. So one, you start now with 3 whole points. You can have 5 total, so it still makes the whole point power-ups worthwhile too. But when you die and respawn, you start with 3 whole points as well. So that should make things a little bit smoother for getting you out of those death cycles. So that was pretty cool. Thank you for that, Lee, for the playtesting there. I made some adjustments to the enemy spawns around the warships in level 1, which was we're getting these situations where if you don't know the trick, and how would you when you first start, of killing the warships, which are basically the warships, they do this. So the warships kind of zone you out at the top. This laser kind of breaks you from the midpoint, and then you have these missiles at the bottom. So the trick is that you're really trying to kill the warship as fast as possible in this bottom area. As a secondary situation, you could kill the turrets first to at least get you out of that space in the upper left corner where the warships are pushing in the corner. But what was happening was that as we teach kind of the first warship, the enemies and the warships were starting to stack when people weren't killing warships fast enough. So we eased up on a bunch of the spawns to make it a little less difficult. It's level 1 for God's sakes as well, right? So, so there was that. What else do we get? La, 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 la. So, yeah, so we did the BFM. We did the BFM missile as that came out of the playtest feedback, which I showed you earlier. Tweaks to fixing bugs with the mid-boss fight. We adjusted some of the add-on spawns as well with the Road to Death wheels. Oh yeah, so this is the cases where we're getting some snowballing we talked about. Let's go back. Ew. All right. Warships. We did some tweaks to the level 2 with the queen snails. So those were pretty fun to adjust as well. We also added as a maybe a point here too. We added so we would in the engine. So there was bugs fixed with the next level select and then specific map selections. So we added overworld and next level. We added to those to tutorial and to all the levels as well, which is great. So you can always go back to overworld. There's some plans later on where if you find things inside a level, that'll unlock maybe some lore bits, some story bits on the overworld. So you have plenty of extra time. Kitty time. Goodbye. Go. Let's see. What else did we get here? Oh yeah, I was going to show the snails. So we added those. What else do we got here? And yes, I found lots of tweaks here as well. So we did lots of adjustments to the final in-boss patterns. That boss is one of my favorite bosses so far. The jury's out on the uber mega power final form of the boss with all of its cool projectiles. So but yeah, so we're finding here that there's a lot going on with the snail boss. So it's got like a defensive plasma laser thing. It's got these nooper bits that it shoots, and then it's got these kind of seekers. These things are monsters. So and the trick here is, it's very much get up in their face while dodging, and then you have to also get past the lasers. So it was quite a bit at the beginning. So I tweaked the queen snails, but also the amount of enemies when we do the subsequent ones. So this still may be a little crazy, but I think we're probably okay because you've got a little more skill at this point. You've kind of learned with at least the new weapon types, enemy weapon types. So we're gonna do more playtesting and see what happens here too. On a side note, people are really enjoying the wisp exploders. So these wisp exploders, they don't take damage. So they block your bullets, which is interesting, but also they when you get close to them, and they trigger your multiplier, which is cool as well. It's to keep that going, but they create a little bit of like defensive exploration bits. So that was kind of fun to do in the level. Okay, and we fixed the general heart attack, and I think what do we got here? So there's that level 2 boss we talked about. I showed in earlier videos. I don't need to go over that. We changed the collectible bits, so they're kind of like soul bits. So they're those green things that fly into your ship. So they're mainly just illustrating points, but maybe we'll be able to do something more with them later on, depending on what's added up, opened up in the engine. So let me see. So we did that. We made lots of changes to the tutorial, basically the tutorial level. So I think we learned quite a bit about the tutorial level. So we ran some folks through it. They played through it, and basically, I think it's too constricting. I'm trying to force too many, a little bit too much text and a little too much, I think. And I gotta just hop over and show you guys. So, tutorial's optional as well, which is great, right? Because I always want people to be, if you want to just jump in and play, then jump and play. No big deal, right? So I think what I've found basically here is that, we've clarified some things, we've removed some extra text. It takes time to read all the bits of text. And one of the limitations I have with the way that I've set up this particular system is that text text can't be removed based on script. So And so that creates a problem where like then I have kind of timers that run text and sometimes they run long. So, and what people actually are reading, what they're learning as when they're first coming into the game, and what they're doing, even though it's pretty low pressure, the thing is that it's just too much. So we've reduced our text quite a bit in that space. Tried to basically just teach the basics. So and we learned quite a bit from watching the playtest and kind of going through the process. I've got a couple other bugs and things that we're working through. So, but I think the short of it is I'm not going to do it now, but I'm going to take the basis and I'm probably just going to redo the tutorial level. I'm going to do the tutorial level as a flying low pressure. It does, we'll probably clock it at about 2 or 3 minutes, maybe not really long, but basically trying to teach you on like a per screen or 2 length basis, which each of the bits do, so you can have no pressure. And we'll use maybe a buddy of mine. I was like, well, maybe we can do like billboards in the background, so the billboards are flying by. We still might use the shootable dialogues and what those look like too. That might be perfectly acceptable. But yeah, it's tough because what I already know and what I think about when I'm trying to teach and all the things that are coming at the player at this point, it's still overwhelming. I think we're better off than we were, but I think we got a redesign, a partial redesign that is going to, I think, free up what we're going to do for tutorials. So we did that. It's just some bug fixes there. We added the massive tree guy for level 2, and then I guess the last thing is so you guys already saw the overworld in the last version, which is great. We added and a very I included it because it's a completable level, but basically this is Srivas Mountain. This is level 3, and the big thing with level 3 is we did a couple things here where we added basically this is the first time we've added an environmental kind of enemy. So we have these cool like illuminated statues. They're like these old stone statues, and then you shoot them and then the light goes out, which is kind of tricky to figure out. The fire goes out for it, and then they stop shooting flamey chasey bits at you. But also, as you can tell, there's geometry in this level. Bam, look at that. So we basically, this is the first time we built a level that has the level constrained. It's a classic side-scroller shmup trope. But so it was really cool figuring out how to kind of export art. This is all temporary art, but it gives me the ability to do level design. So like we have things here where this is going to be where enemies kind of poop out from here as well. And then I only went through and basically kind of built in some of the environmental objects to be like enemies, so they're also decorative. So that was kind of a neat little concept. And then some just like tough to pass through areas, that type of thing. So, and then what we're gonna do is that because we have ground, we're gonna have enemies. We're basically gonna have, I'll show you these guys. So I'm really excited. One of the next enemy types that I'm working on, come on, push the button, is, and here's so we have this is going to replace those Satan warships that I was showing earlier. So this is almost done. It's a render basically of the new ship. I love that it feels like kind of like a pair of giant like hands, demonic hands came in and kind of fused and formed together this like ship. And so you can see this is where the laser is, the top missile. We got our little butticus orifice for the smaller seeking missiles. And then on the deck of this thing, we have, we're still working on it, but basically we have these guys. And so these guys, it's very, very Doom-esque kind of inspired. So these guys are going to have like a 6-legged spider base, if you will. And then they're going to like trundle through the level, and then they're going to be shooting, their oppressive AA weaponry. So those guys are going to be walking around in the space. So it's going to be kind of fun to have more gameplay for the ceiling and floors as well. So, but yeah, so that was most of the tech art and the enemies and all the other good stuff. The balancing, the tuning, the bug fixing is slowing down the ability to essentially to do the next passes on the level. So I think those were the big highlights. It's the 827 build. And it can be found in the Discord server. I'm about ready to post it here. It's the DrBossKey Discord server. And then I'll post this video as part of the just the notes, so people kind of have a sense what's going on. We did lots of other undocumented changes and tweaks and tuning and bug fixes, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been crazy fun. Thank you everybody that's been involved. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye everybody.